Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. I need to get over my own afternoon midday slump. Bought Nieisha in a couple of seconds early there, but we are here back in the Java Cafe for your midday Java, getting you over that after lunch slump. And for the past few weeks, we've been talking from the theme Black mental wealth. And I think it is vitally important that we continue the conversation about the relationship and the correlation between our money mentality and also how we get to a point of where we have tangible wealth. There are things that make us wealthy, like love, family, gratitude, and things like that. But in this vein, we're correlating both of them, our money mentality, and also our mental health as well. And so I am getting ready to bring my guest in the room. I'm going to go in and say good afternoon. Props, good afternoon. Good to see you. Good to see you. Mail is coming to Atlanta. That's dope. That's dope. Appreciate that, bro. Thank you for the update. Nikki, good afternoon. Good to see you in the room. Good to see you. And also, Lasagna, good to see you in the afternoon as well. So do me a favor and hit that share button. We're going to check in with Nieisha, coming from the theme of a new you in 2022. And so I'm about to bring her into the room so she can say good afternoon to everybody and got her scarf. Listen, I love the little fashion statement, Jesus. Okay.
You do? No, I went out for my walk and it's cold out there.
Oh yeah.
You know, Saturday, was it Saturday, the day that was like kind of warm, and I was like, ooh, okay, let me find out. And then I went out today and I was like, wait a minute, I'm not prepared. I need to gather the right thing.
Layers. So yes, this weekend, I'm like, am I breaking out the long johns? I'm like, I don't want to now, because if it hits like 0 or 5 below, then what am I going to do? I'm like, yeah. And props, that reminds me of our friend down in Atlanta. He had long johns on. And I think it was like 30 degrees. What? But I mean, down there, I guess that's cold. But Nieisha, good afternoon. Happy Monday afternoon to you. Let's start and check in. And I don't usually do this with you and Jelani, but let's begin by asking you, what is one word today that you would use to let us know how you're doing in a mental health space?
Anxious.
Anxious. Okay. And so, you know, sometimes I have to remember that we're live, because some folks come on and then I forget and we start having a real convo. But coming from you, I'm like, okay, you need to tell me the context of this anxious, because I don't hear that, that sort of cadence or sentiment from you often. So why are you anxious?
No.
Is it a good anxious or?
So it's kind of normal for me to start off the week kind of anxious, because there's so many things that I have on my mind that I want to get done, that I want to do. So Mondays for me, if I don't do my wellness practice in the beginning of the day and in the beginning of the week, it kind of throws me off. So today was one of those days where I didn't have the best night's sleep, right?
Okay. Yep.
And I didn't do my morning wellness, like my whole stretching, breathing, meditating, praying kind of thing. And sometimes, like I tell people this all the time, it is literally a practice, right? And so some days we're on target and some days we're not, but both days we're going to show ourselves compassion. That's what we are going to do that.
Yes. It's interesting because I do an affirmation. I try to do it every morning. And there's a part in there, and I'm getting to the point where I'm reading it so much that I'm starting to remember, but there's a part in there that says, I will attempt to do everything on my to-do list. And if I don't, it's okay. I will not be anxious. And there's something else in there. And so we do have to give ourselves grace, but let's be also real with the fact it's Monday. And for folks that are wired like you and I, Monday is the day we're like, okay, we map out our week. What didn't we do this weekend? What did we leave hanging on Friday? And so, but from the theme we're talking today, a new you in 22, how are you thinking? And I know you're very intentional about your mental space. How are you thinking about a new approach to ensure that, because you mentioned that you weren't able to do some of your wellness things this morning. So in that new approach for 22, maybe what's a thing that you're thinking of to, as much as possible, got to give ourselves grace. A new you in 22, what does that look like in ensuring you keep your wellness space in the morning, and especially on Mondays?
Yeah. You know, I just, every day I just try my best, right? Like, I understand the formula for wellness. I understand, you know, the things that I eat that are helpful for me. The people that I am around that are helpful for me. The types of support that I need sometimes that are helpful for me. I know all these things because I'm very much so in touch with myself. But sometimes we slip up, right? We might eat something that, you know, I did have a little cake pop this weekend. I'm not gonna lie. I went to Starbucks and had a cake pop, and as soon as I ate that Starbucks cake pop, I felt that sugar running through my body. I said, "Dang, why did I just do that?"
Wait, you don't eat, you don't. Yeah, see, my body would be like, more like, really, bro? You're gonna give us a tease? Ooh, no comment. No comment.
So, the thing about it is, I know the formula. I understand the formula. It's just putting it into practice and building out the routine, right? And, you know, just continuously practicing it. So today I was a little bit off. Tomorrow I have another shot, or during the day I can do things. Like I said, I went for a walk. I wasn't able to do my morning thing, but I still went for a walk, you know?
And that's an opportunity for me to reset. Earlier this year, you know, when I call it an entanglement now because it's over. But when I was in then a relationship, you know, when there would be some interesting conversations, I would go for a walk. And that really does give you an opportunity to reset. And so, speaking of reset, you know, we're going to talk from the theme today, a new you in 2022. And let's be 100, Nieisha. A lot of us, I'm you know, I'm looking at the camera, looking at myself right now. You know, we're going to work out in the new year. I'm currently beating myself up because I plan to have all this office organized, everything categorized, go through the paper, get rid of the what do you call it, clutter, and stuff like that. And so this is a time of year and when we're trying to clean up the past year, but getting ready for a new year. And so when I say, you know, new you in 2022, what comes to mind?
Oh, child. You know, honestly, I don't necessarily like to wait until the new year to do all these things, but I know it's our society that tells us that we got to wait. You know, I'm a person that's like, why not just do it today? But I understand that, you know, thinking about the end of the year, you have a chance to kind of review all the things, you know what I mean? It's just a natural thing to do. Like, something's coming to an end, and you review kind of, you know, everything that's happened. But for me, if I think about it, the top of mind things are related to PureSpark and what we're trying to do as an organization. And I try to tell people that, like, it's really hard for me to separate Nieisha, the person, and PureSpark. You know what I'm saying? Because literally just on yesterday, Sunday, I'm having a conversation with someone and we're meeting. It's a business partner meeting. And she's like, I can't tell if I'm talking to, you know, Nieisha, the founder of PureSpark, or Nieisha D. And I'm like, that's because we're kind of one and the same, you know? And so when I think about next year and goals and things, it's really centered around PureSpark and the impact that we're trying to make in our community. We have some exciting things coming up. I can't wait to share it. once the details are outlined. But we're really trying to show the community and prove to the community that healing is possible for them, and that PureSpark is ready to break down all the barriers that are in place to our community healing. We're ready to do that.
So a couple of things to unpack there. You do see who you're talking to. I mean, in the name in itself, and I definitely get the correlation between work and brand and the individual, and it's I feel you. And then so from that point, there would be not a slight challenge, but I know what it is to. So much of what you want to do is done through an entity and a platform that is so tied to you and your personal passion, because you probably got some folks that support you. I do too. But PureSpark Java with Jimmy is, I often say, I'm literally a one-man show, and you're probably a one-woman show.
Yeah, for the most part.
Oh, so we wasn't even going to go here a little bit. So let me put.
For the most part, I can't leave out. There are people that I meet with on a regular basis that does help me, but for day to day, it's pretty much.
Yeah, shout out to people on my end, Newt Johnson, Props, a couple of other people. I got this new executive assistant on as well. And so, well, yeah, that. So anyway, we got to stay focused, Jesus. But the new us in 2022. I mean, what is the mental health impact from a good standpoint? Let's explore that. What are the benefits of? Because I'll be honest, birthday, New Year. What is another thing for me? Usually it's birthday or New Year. If I want to start something and get my life in order, I'm like, okay, what's coming first, birthday or New Year? Or like July 1st, middle of the year. And so, I deal with a little bit of procrastination sometimes. And so what is the good part about setting a date? Because really, let's extract the what do you call it, assets there. We're setting a goal. We're making a plan. So what's the good part about that? Before you cut us about immediate implementation for improvement, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Go ahead.
Yeah. Goal setting is necessary, right? Okay. Because if you can't see it and you can't believe it, how can you act on it?
Yeah,
like that's just not possible. You have to have some sort of target. But to answer to because I thought about your question a little bit more, and I said, you know what, he got a point. What am I doing for me next year? And it is something that my sister pointed out to me, in that I do work a lot. And, because we are kind of a one solopreneur type of situation going on here.
Wait a minute. Did we just coin a new term?
Solopreneur?
Solopreneur.
Yeah, that's a term. No, it's a term. And I didn't make it up.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
I was going to say right here, you heard it first in the job. Okay,
sorry. But she was like, it was Wednesday evening, and she was like, you work too much. You always working. And I was like, one thing about my sister is she tells the truth. Like, she don't give me she don't butter nothing up. She just gives it to me real. And that's why I appreciate her in my life, because she keeps it real with me. So that very same day, Wednesday at 5:00, I start Googling. I try to remember, okay, Nieisha, what are the things that bring you joy? What's fun for you? Dancing. Okay, more specifically, African dance and drums. Though that is my jam.
Okay.
Put me in a room with some drums and the spirit takes over. I am moving and grooving. I feel free. I feel happy. I feel joyful. So I did find a class at the dance complex in Cambridge that very night. I went and had the best time.
You dance. You do dance. You do dance. I have.
I dance. You caught me on video.
I got video, but go ahead.
So I want to do more of that next year. More opportunities to have fun. Random fun, meeting new people. That's what brings me joy. That's what brings me life. But also, as you mentioned, with the goal setting, because that is definitely a goal of mine. And it's something that I implemented as soon as I saw that it was a concern. I acted on it. That's just me. Like, I don't wait. I'm a solutions focused person. Go ahead.
So that is the difference between, thank you for naming the good. It is goal setting. And, I was kind of throwing the pitch because it is, though sometimes I don't always stick to it. Birthday comes and I'm like, okay, well, we'll do it first of the year. First of the year comes, oh, we'll do it July 1st. Yeah. Well, I don't realize it until March. I didn't stick with it. I'm like, okay, let me give myself another 90 days. I'm being very transparent here with you all. But then you just said you're solution oriented. So maybe this is a term that we're coining here today for the first time is, oh God, I forgot just that quick. Immediate implementation. I'll go back and watch. There was 3 words I said a few minutes ago, but you're the type of person, when you see it, you act on it immediately. You implement it immediately.
Yeah, I have to. Otherwise, it'll bother me. Otherwise, it'll keep me up at night.
Okay. Okay.
There's things that I will ruminate on.
Yeah.
That do keep me up at night. You know what I mean? The fact that I have 100 people who are looking for therapists, and there's maybe 20 people that have been sitting on my list for a while that couldn't be matched because of the insurance that they have. That kind of keeps me up at night.
Yeah.
A little bit figuratively, but yeah. I'm trying to think of a solution, and I think I found one. So I'm really excited. When I figured out the answer to a challenge, that's like instant excitement and joy for me. I'm like, give me a problem, because I want to turn it around, flip it upside down, look at it in different ways, figure out, okay, what's the solution? Like, how do we fix this? Because I don't think there isn't a solution to all. I feel like every problem has a solution. That's always been my mindset throughout life. Always.
It's funny because early on in my career, I was working with a man by the name of Richard Clater, and I just got so frustrated. And I sarcastically once said, behind every problem, there's a solution. And then I jumped in and said, well, currently our solution solving mechanism is currently down. And so that's a problem. But behind every problem, there is an opportunity to sort of extract. I like how you said we like turn it upside down, in and out, unpack, as we often use, to get to a point to where I guess you get the foundation of what's causing the issue, and so let's move into, what is, if there are any, and we know about it after the fact if we don't keep them, but what are some of the negative things that, from a mental health standpoint of goal setting in this new you in 22, and then we're in the 3rd or 4th week, and how do we let's go here. How do we set ourselves up not to fail? And then if we, that balance between fail and giving ourselves grace. And so what is some of the approach that we can take to, looking at us, a new you in 2022 from a mental health standpoint?
Yeah, I think when we don't follow through on a goal that we've set for ourselves, it kind of lowers our self-confidence, right? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, I can't do that. I'm not capable of doing that. Like, we're telling ourselves, we're sending a message to ourselves, right? And in order to, I think, keep that from happening, and this happens all the time when you think about working out, or you're thinking about having a business, is having some sort of counsel, advisor, somebody who's helping to hold you accountable. So sharing your goal with someone else, and don't share it with the people, the naysayer people. I'm not talking about that. Share it with somebody who's supportive, right? Who wants to see you doing well, right? Those are the people that you want to share your goals with. And I speaking it out loud and kind of writing it down, and having that accountability with those measures in place, it's like, it's a little bit harder to not follow through with them. So when I'm talking about the things and the goals that I have for myself next year, my accountability partner, like not really, I guess professionally, but my sister, like I
was going to say, is it your sister? Because
it's my sister. She's gonna, if it's about me and making sure that I take care of myself, because I feel like we always need somebody to hold us accountable for taking care of ourselves. Yeah. And I do that for other people, but sometimes I do need somebody to do that for me. I'll be like, so yeah, how you taking care of yourself? I will be in somebody's business. Okay. I did that this weekend with my sister. Unfortunately, we recently lost her husband's brother. He passed away to some health issues, and she's been going in with supporting the family and, helping with the funeral arrangements. And she's just an empath through and through.
Yeah.
And I said, Tasha, are you going out and taking time to just clear your mind and stuff? Because that stuff is heavy.
Yeah.
She said, yeah, I'm about to go for a walk today. I said, okay, cool. I talked to her the next day. I said, did you go for a walk? She said, no. I said, oh, well, I'm on my way out there and we're going for a walk together. So it's like, I'm very intentional about making sure that other people prioritize themselves, even in a society where it tells us not to do that. I'm like, I don't care what society says. How are you taking care of you?
But when
my sister does that for me.
But the thing is, I can so identify because before the platform, I can preach it. I can lay it out. But you came to me and said, James, I'll lay it out, get you an Excel sheet about your time management, what you need to do, give yourself grace and whatnot. But do it for it's so interesting doing it for ourselves. It becomes, I don't know. It's different. I guess we do better at external support than, supporting ourselves. We're having a session right here in real time, Nieisha, and I forgot y'all. But the internal support has to be a priority as well.
Definitely. Yeah. So basically what I'm saying is that, the accountability is important, and making sure that you share with people what you have going on and what you're looking to do so they can check up on you. Like, oh, Jimmy, I heard you trying to do, like, I remember you said last month you wanted to do this by this month. Like, what have you done? And or also saying, like, how can I support you? Can I link you up with so and such a person in order to, help you with your podcast and whatever have you? Like, what connections can I make? And you not being afraid to ask for help either, because sometimes our goals can be so big. Remember, we got to break them joints down into palatable pieces.
Smart goals. Yep.
Yes. Actionable, small steps. Yep. Email this person, call this person, sign this contract. You know what I mean? Like, we got to break it down to not overwhelm ourselves, because sometimes we could do that too. But also kind of making sure that we're keeping people updated and informed about what we're trying to do, because we need that as a community focused type of people. We need community to kind of help us reach our goals,
And that's an affirmation. I don't know if you saw, I went to church yesterday, and Pastor Art Gordon from St. John was talking about the fact of being in community. You know what I mean? And then, where we get the support from that and what comes out of that. You do get the accountability. But one thing I heard you say is don't only hold people accountable, because some of us are good at that. You didn't. But I heard another term, accountability with assistance. They're definitely, and wow, I just thought about that, because that translates into politics. Accountability with assistance. We'll hold you accountable, but also here's an idea to I'm not going to go there. This is.
I mean, that's what it is, though. That's what it is. We can't just sit there and go like this. You didn't do this, and you say you're going to do that. They might be struggling with doing that, right? So it's like, okay, how can I help? Maybe I can connect you with the person. Maybe it's financial help. Maybe it's, I don't know, help watching your child while you work out. I really don't know what it is. But we are such an individualistic society, and that's what's messing us up. We got to get back to community. And that's kind of where we lost a little bit of our power, is that we lost our community. We got to get back to that.
In general, I think pre-pandemic, and we can go into, you hear things about divisiveness within the Black community, but there are roots in it by design, from the term house and lights, and we being pitched against ourselves. And it comes from, to some extent, a slave mentality. But then we have to be honest about, there are some things that impacted us in a way when it comes to our individualism in the pandemic. You know what I mean? And though we're on our way out, I still notice some impact when I'm out in public, or just, I notice I'm a lot more comfortable with when I wind up figuring out I've been in the house for like 2.5, 3 days. I'm like, oh, I ain't been outside. You know what I mean? And so there's the impact, of that as well. Nieisha, as we get ready to wrap up, Jelani is in the room. We're going to have y'all cross over in a couple of seconds. But what are you looking, when this was not prepared? What are you looking for you? Not PureSpark, And I know, because if someone asks me the same question, within 3 seconds, I'm going to jump right to Java with Jimmy. What are you looking for you personally in 2022?
Woo, that's a big question. I'm really looking forward to more connections.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe somewhat of a love life. Who knows?
I'm just
go ahead.
No. I just when I sit, I don't know what to say, or I don't want to say what I want to say. Go ahead.
Say it, Jimmy. Don't be afraid.
Me too. This is the afternoon. I don't think my mother's on. Me too. And you got to follow that up with a shit. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. it just that puts the extra thing behind it. But yeah, I mean, that's a goal.
Yeah, I mean it's COVID, right? So it's kind of hard to like meet people during a global pandemic. So it'll be nice to kind of get back out in the dating world and kind of do that again. More fun.
Mm-hmm. What's fun for you? And we get ready to bring our brother Jelani.
Lord, I don't know. I really enjoy. I used to travel so much.
Okay.
Back in the day, you could go to my Facebook page right now and look back a couple of years, and within the span of 3 months, I was in Ghana, Trinidad, and then Atlanta. Right before the pandemic happened, and as soon as I got my flight back from Atlanta, the world shut down. What happened?
But so the only reason why I laughed was because you went to Ghana. You went to Trinidad, and then you said Atlanta, and it was like, oh, you just ended on Atlanta's my second home, so I'm not going to say anything. But I just had to laugh when you said that. And then you came back to good old ATL. But
I went to a wellness event that was put on by Essence. Essence Magazine had a dope wellness event out there called Wellness House or something like that.
Okay.
One of my friends, my therapist friends, invited me, and I was like, oh my God, this is a dope experience. And soon after that, the whole world shut down, and I haven't been on a plane since.
I'm not going to make any comment because I've been planing. I'll just leave that right there. But what's up, Jelani? Good to see you in the room this afternoon.
How y'all doing?
All right. How you doing? Ready for the new year?
I am ready for the new year, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm excited. It's right around the corner. This year kind of flew by.
Yeah, it did.
I swear it was just April. I swear it was just June. It was just hot outside, and now we're getting ready for New Year's.
I know. Wait, is this our last session of the year, or do we have one?
I was going to bring that up and express.
Oh, my bad.
Y'all finish. All right.
I was like, wait a minute.
Nieisha, and I'll do this both you and Jelani when you end as well. But Nieisha, I wanted to thank you, and this isn't over, but this is just our last Black mental wealth session with our regular commentators. I don't know if I'll be on next Monday or not. We'll keep you abreast of that. But I really, Nieisha, wanted to thank you because you are so busy. You are such a great caregiver. At the conference, you were tapping me and certain things. Jimmy, that's for you. Making connections. And so, I wish I was able to, and I need you to I'll check in with you after about something I was thinking about. But I wish I was able to pay you more than you're worth. And value. And so I really appreciate you taking the time for these past, what has it been, about 5-6 weeks? We started on Spark FM Online, but we've been here every Monday at 1 p.m. correlating, our money mentality and mental health and talking about wealth. So Nieisha, I thank you. I hope all well for you in 2022. Part of that wellness is going to be here with us in the Java Cafe, but I did want to express that because we're giving Nieisha and Jelani a couple of weeks off, and then we're going to come back sometime early mid-January with new content, maybe guests, and really keep this theme of Black mental wealth. And so Nieisha, whatever you want to tell the people for the end of the year. Oh, please, I mean it from the bottom of my heart.
No, I appreciate you, tapping me to have me come on. I love you, Jimmy. You're just amazing at what you do. You have such a big heart. You're such an empath. I remember we were both at a Boston Wild Black event, and I was getting some food. I don't know if you remember this. I was trying to order some food from someone, and you know, she had said something kind of like, or she ignored me, and you were like, excuse me, ma'am, she's asking you. And I was like, it's okay, Jimmy. You was like, nuck if you buck. I was like, let me find out. Do you remember that? I don't even know if you do.
I do. I remember that. And they were telling us, I remember the whole thing. They were short staffed. And then the other guy came out and frazzled, and she was the supervisor. She was only on the job for a couple of days. Oh, I remember. I remember that well, because you're one of the sweetest people. And it wasn't that she was intentionally trying to be rude, but she didn't respond in a way that I thought was favorable toward the queen. So, you know, as the king that I am, I had to speak up, Jesus.
I appreciate you, just because, you know, you look out for folks, you know what I'm saying? And I try to return that energy back, you know, because you pour out a lot into the community. And I just hope that as much as you pour out, tenfold is returned back to you. So
that's a little church there. When it's some 10, some 30, some 60, 100-fold. Yes, I receive it. I receive it. But we're going to let Nieisha go. You all please send her holiday greetings in her inbox. Go check out the PureSpark website as well, and consider, you know, making a donation to support the work and stuff that she's doing. And I have an idea that if we can get the clinicians to kind of look at a certain rate, everybody does, you know, and no slight, but toys are covered, turkeys are covered, clothes are covered. Next year, how about we get a cadre of people together and we give out gift certificates to therapy, give out financial.
I like that. I like that.
Hello.
So that's something maybe that we can look at. That's something that we are going to do.
Oh, that's in the works. I'm letting you know right now. That is in the works. FYI. So we here with it. So yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Platforms here if you need it, sis. Let me know.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right, Nieisha. Thank you. Love you much.
All right.
Nieisha, talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
So that was our Nieisha Deed in the room, and it was just awesome what just happened. And usually I go to a commercial, but I just, the energy right now is awesome, and I really want to take as much advantage of this brother's time, because today he's given some pointers. We're coming to the end of the year. Nieisha was talking about, you know, a new you in 2022, and for a lot of us, we could use a new perspective, outlook on our finances. So first, before I get into the business, King, how are you doing? It's Mental Health Monday in the Java Cafe. So if I was to ask you to describe your mental health status in one word, what would that be?
Oh, I'm feeling relieved today.
Okay.
This Monday. So you know, we go through ups and downs, of course, right? And I feel like this Monday has been a relief for me, and just I've kind of have a new, refreshing perspective, right? I'm looking forward to the new year. I've been sitting back. I've been preparing. I've been writing in my notes. I've been kind of visualizing what 2022 is going to look like for me. And sometimes what you have to do is you have to visualize and put yourself in the position that you want to be, right, in your mind first. So with that being said, I'm feeling relieved. I'm feeling excited. I'm ready to go. How are you feeling?
I'm doing well. Physically, I'm better. And Jelani's my brother. And we had a conversation about, you know, like booster and vaccine stuff this week, and he checked up on me and you know, shared some information. And so physically, I had shared with him that I was sore and whatnot, and I'm doing better with that. And then from a mental health standpoint, right now in the moment, I'm good. I heard Nieisha. I'm listening to a cadence from you. And if you know Jelani well, he's pretty like even keeled. But today you got a little extra hype in your voice.
Just a little bit. I'm all right. I'm
glad to hear about the relief, but I'm cool. I'm cool. And it's really vibing off of you and Aisha's energy. But generally, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. And so one of the things you mentioned, like, it's an opportunity to reset. And we do this correlation between, you know, money mentality, mental health, and getting to a point of wealth, not only being money, but, you know, value and family and love languages, as we've talked about a lot. But one of the things I wanted to check in with you about, like, if you don't mind me asking you, like, what do you do from a fiscal or financial standpoint, like at the end of the year? I would say, what should we be doing? But I'm going to ask you what you're doing, because if we follow your model, I think we'll be I think we'll be kind of all right.
So the first thing I do is I assess my finances and I reach out to a tax advisor, right? You don't want to prepare your taxes. You don't want to prepare your documents and your paperwork at the last minute, right? You want to start getting this information in order. Some of us might not have gotten our W-2s yet. Those might come, in between January and February, right? But we still want to start getting our other documents in order, our paperwork in order. So especially if we have businesses, right? We want to make sure that we're getting these documents and this paperwork in order so we can start to prepare, so we can give our tax advisor a fair shake when it comes to dealing with us, right? We don't want to be scrambling when it's time. We want to get prepared for tax season. That's one thing, right? The next thing we have to think about, and what I wanted to mention is, one of the things that you want to start thinking about is you have to assess where you are from the start of this year up until now, right? Did you hit your goals? Did you stick to your plan? Did you see things through? Were you consistent? Assess yourself, right? You want to assess yourself to see if you have made any of your financial goals, right? Assess the last 12 months. I see somebody put that on there. Assess the last 12 months. You want to assess yourself to see if you have hit some of your goals, right? And what I really want to say, which a lot of people do, is just don't beat yourself up, right? Be nice, be kind to yourself. If you didn't hit the goals, if you didn't hit your goals, if you didn't hit all those pinnacles that you set for yourself, be nice to yourself. It's okay. You have another year, thank God, to get it together, and that's what it's about.
Got you. And then that's me putting up there. I mean, the folks are good that listen in, but they're not that good. I'm the one taking the advice. They can see it. You can take screenshots of this with the steps. And so Jelani, so far, the main thing that you said was to assess the last 12 months.
Absolutely.
And then in that initially you said, kind of start preparing for tax preparation. And so obviously W-2s, some employers and things, they hold on to them. I think by law, you don't have to have them until January 31st. Is that the law?
I'm not sure 100%.
Okay. All right. I remember hearing that kind of early on because I was I was one of the ones hustling back in the day, trying to get my taxes done early because I had back in the day I supported one of my nephews over $3,000 worth that year, and so I was able to claim on. I'm saying,
I get it.
Listen, and so we have to prepare, but generally, and then you said also if you own a business, and I'll be very transparent with you, bro. Ouch, because I'm like a year behind in the business taxes, just because I might need to sit with you because I got to catch up the last 12 months myself. But the other thing you said was, again, assess the past 12 months.
Assess the past 12 months.
All right. This, from a financial planning perspective, I'll be honest, and it speaks to the type of person you are, but in your financial advisor role, you said give yourself grace. Be nice to yourself around, and I need to edit that. Be nice to yourself around missed goals. And so what do you mean by that?
It's like this, right? So the holiday season, it's said to be some of the most people are at more risk to catch the depression bug.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Around these times, due to, not being around family, not being able to provide the way they want to provide. Right. There's a number of different reasons. You may have lost a loved one that didn't make it into the season with you. Right. Whether that be by death or be through a breakup or something. Right. So when I say, if you haven't hit every pinnacle, if you haven't hit every goal, give yourself some grace and be kind to yourself, because what a lot of people do around this time is beat themselves up. Right? Don't beat yourself up about not hitting your goals. Don't beat yourself up about the losses that you took this year. Right? Give yourself some grace. Be kind to yourself. Right? Don't do it. Don't beat yourself up, because the world is hard enough already. Right? Don't tag yourself in to beat yourself up. Right? If this was a wrestling match, don't tag yourself in and add on to what the world's bringing to you. Does that make sense? So that's where I'm going with that.
Okay. I appreciate that. And it again, the person you are, not surprised by it, but with your financial planning hat on, I was just surprised. Well, see, this is why we do this correlation between mental health.
It's the best correlation, I feel like. And I think it's genius that you put this together to have conversations about mental health and then dive right into mental wealth, because it goes hand in hand, right? It goes hand in hand. So I think it's a perfect transition.
Got you. And let's transition into this. So based on that, what those are some skill sets. And if you have more, tell me. But what is, and let's go back. We've been naming this a lot. And we will keep naming it until the 26th, when y'all going out trying to catch all those sales, trying to impress somebody. You didn't want to see them on Christmas because you knew you could get it on sale 50% cheaper the next day. So all of a sudden you're not seeing them on Christmas. But the mentality again around approaching this holiday, along with, preparing for the end of the year, we have to reiterate that, the mentality of not going broke over the holiday season. And so to move a little bit away from that, what sort of mentality do you take? Not so much skill, but I guess with giving yourself grace when you assess your last year, Jelani, when you may have missed a couple of points or whatever, how do you handle the mental impact and especially being a man and a dad? How do you handle the mental impact of missing your financial goals?
I tell myself, right? That as long as I'm breathing, right? As long as I'm physically able, that I have another chance and I have another shot, right? Every day breeds a new opportunity, right? We have loved ones that haven't made it. We have loved ones who may be incarcerated. We have loved ones that may not even just have the means to even be able to, survive just on a basic level, right? So we have to give thanks, right? We have to approach it with supreme gratitude that we are still capable no matter what, right? So this is the mindset that I approach it with, right? If I fall short, if I don't hit my goals the way I wanted to hit my goals, I know that as long as I have air in my lungs, right, I am still able to give it another shot, right? It's a marathon, not a sprint, right? And another thing that I want to say is you have to remember that the destination is in the journey, right? And I'll reiterate that the destination is in the journey. So whether you fall short or not, the destination is in the journey. What does that mean? That means throughout the journey, you are learning, you are picking things up. If I fell short this year, right, all I have to do is assess and then see where I fell short, make the adjustments, right? I make the adjustments. And then I now know that next year, I'm not going to make this mistake. Maybe I spent too much money on sneakers. Maybe I spent too much money over here. Maybe I spent too much time not focusing on my goals. Maybe I wasn't consistent enough, right? Maybe I wasn't as intentional as I should have been, right? But you are still here. You have another day and you have another shot. Simple as that. Give yourself grace.
It's I'll be honest, it's not that simple. It isn't. When you got me stuttering, that means you done struck a chord, brother. Because again, and oh, Jesus. All right, let me calm. It's not just men. Let's also name that we have queens out here that are single parent homes, that are holding it down, sending their children to private school, working 2 jobs and whatnot. And so it's not just men, but the majority of the stressors this time of year, living up to, getting everybody gifts. A lot of the time when you are in a heterosexual relationship and there's children, the man tends to take on that presumed role of the bread. Now, let's be 100. In 2021, that may not always be the case. Some of the sisters
these women are out here getting money. they are.
And ain't mad at.
I tell people all the time, my richest friends are women. I'm just being honest. They women, and they quiet about it. They so humble.
Mm-hmm.
When a man's getting money, everybody's gonna know about it.
Let's go here a little bit. I think the reason the women are a little humble and quiet about it because they don't want us, or a part of us that they're going to. Can we just keep? Men
are gold diggers too. Let's be clear. Men can be gold diggers just as much as women, or even more. Let's just be real. They see your potential. They see they may play it a little different, but trust me, they know who has the bag and who doesn't.
Jelani,
That's a whole. That's another. We shifted lanes. We moving around today a little bit.
Let's get there. Numbers might be a little low, but there may be one sister on here that knows a sister or a sister herself. So let's unpack that for like 2 seconds. Jelani, what would you say to the sisters that are doing well? What are some skill sets they need to have for oh God, I hate to use this term because I might get a couple of texts, but gold digging brothers. Let's just keep it general for the brothers and the sisters. What are some red flags to know that you might potentially be dealing with a gold digger? Unintended, y'all. We didn't plan to cover this, but listen. Don't mess around. Come, let's go, bro. Let's go.
So I think you have to pay attention, of course, to a brother's credit. You have to pay attention to a way a brother's living for sure. You wanna, if you're paying for everything all the time y'all go out, right? If he always needs some type of financial support, of course you want to help someone out. But when it becomes a little too much, a little too beggy, right? You want to start to question what's going on. Hey, what's up with your job, or what's going on with your credit, or what's up with that business that you said you had. You want to start asking questions, and you don't want to get duped. You don't want to get played, because a lot of brothers can talk that talk and they're not walking that walk. And everyone has seen that. Everyone has that relative, that cousin, that uncle who they know can run that game. They could talk that talk, but the overall picture is not adding up, right? So pay attention to what the overall picture really looks like, right? Pay attention to that. And after a certain age and time period, you really can't afford to take care of somebody. You can't afford to take care of somebody. You can't afford to sell yourself short. After a certain age, and this isn't a knock to any of our brothers, because some of our brothers do need extra help. They do need extra support in the financial realm, right? But sis, if you are taking care of that man over a certain amount of time, you have to assess what you're doing. You have to assess what you're doing, and if it makes sense for you, straight up. And this is advice I'll give to my sisters, of course, and my nieces and the woman in my life that I want to look out for. Like, make sure that man can bring something to the table. As simple as that.
It is both ways, right? It is both ways.
Absolutely, goes both ways.
And oh God, this should be a Java After Dark, and so maybe we'll do a Java After Dark on finances and relationships. But
I'm with it.
There's some things out there too that know how to bat the eyes and get in the brother's pocket. Let's just keep it 100.
Oh, without a doubt, and that wasn't the initial conversation, but that's a given for sure. It goes both ways. See, look, this is the thing, man. Humans, the primal instinct of humans is to survive, right? It's to survive. It is to make sure that they have food, shelter, right? And the means. So when you look at it from that, it's just primal instinct to want someone who can potentially be a provider. That goes both ways, right? I don't want a woman that can't take care of herself, right? And you don't want a man that can't take care of himself, right? Because it's going to lessen our chances of survival. If both of us can take care of ourselves, it's going to heighten our chances of survival. So it comes down to primal instincts at the end of the day, right? Yo, why you get me like this, bro? You know what you're doing.
No. You started it when you said something about we got to go back and rewatch it. But this is going to be good, because I think this is something we need to build out for Java After Dark. And again, sisters, brothers, if you are watching and somebody's commenting, so obviously, I was told once before, don't pay attention to the numbers because somebody's getting something out of here. And so what Paris is saying, Paris and model characteristics and actions will always show you who a person is. And so it wasn't, bro, this is your fault because you said something. And I said, well, let's go down the road, because again, the correlation between mentality and wealth, bro. So not getting deep into relationships, but we got to also understand that a lot of times our mentality toward a relationship or a past relationship can have huge influence on our finances.
Absolutely. I mean, I deal with clients who are still recovering from putting cars in their husband's or in their boyfriend or their girlfriend's names, right? I have clients who are recovering from co-signing for people. Let's just keep it simple, right? I have people that are recovering from that, right? And if you had to co-sign for someone, right, you have to ask yourself, why aren't they able to do it themselves, right? And like I said, you want to love somebody, you want to look out for them, you want to be a support system. I get that, but you have to protect yourself, because your survival depends on you protecting your assets. And your assets don't just mean your house. Your assets don't just mean the money in your bank account. Your asset is your name. That's your first asset.
And your credit score, unfortunately.
Your credit score, exactly. That's an asset, because it can be used to create a lot of freedom in your life. It can be used to create, like I said, that primal instinct of survival. Your credit can help you survive. So if you're putting your credit at risk for somebody, remember, you're putting your survival at risk for somebody as well, right? It all comes down. It's very primal. It's very basic, but sometimes we overlook how simple things are, and we make everything more complicated than it is.
I thought you were going to say something earlier about, you said something about your brother or sister credit report, if they have a job, always paying for the food. But let's just talk. This has nothing to do with finances or a little. Right. Well, this is more mental. What about the gut? Where does the gut play a role in that? Because you can see some other things, but before you saw the paper, something in your gut just told you,
you better trust that thing. That's they say that's your second brain.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what they say. Right? They say that your gut is your second brain. That's why when they say when you clear your gut out, when you focus on gut health, you get to have a different level of clarity, right? You may see things differently. You may connect to people differently. This is all hearsay. This is what I've heard, right? But I have experiences as well at times where I do a cleanse or something like that, right? I start to see things clearer. Your awareness goes up. Your senses become more heightened, right? Because your gut is. That's where you think the phrase gut feeling came from, right? You get a gut feeling about somebody, right? You get you sometimes a situation or a circumstance isn't what it's cracked up to be. Or if you're in an environment where there's something about to go down or the energy is not right, you feel it in your gut first, right? You feel it in your gut for it. It sends a signal to your brain. So you have to trust your gut. You have to trust your gut.
Listen, I'm going to do well because you got me for going down a couple of rows, but somebody needed to hear this today. Somebody that's going to watch it later. Somebody that's going to get tagged is going to be like, hey, remember we was talking to you about Leroy? And then somebody going to say, man, I'm telling you about
Leroy.
I'm old. I go to the, anyway, let me not get in trouble.
Listen, lady, it's cold out. Leroy is looking for a place to stay. Be careful. Be careful.
Not only Leroy, Shaniqua too, and let's take away from this. Should Paul and Lisa too? That goes on in coaches as well. Let's just get that
right
before I get in trouble. But let's go back to bring this back to mentality, because a lot of what you're saying, Jelani, is a head and heart condition. And just to back up a little bit, while theoretically it makes sense, I never heard anyone articulate about the correlation between the gut health and less foggy brain, for lack of better words. I get it, because you're basically healthy. You got all the toxins out your body. But thank you for that, because that's an extra nugget I'm walking away with. That probably help me eat a little bit better, maybe less chitlins. But I'm not going to set myself. I'm not
that black. I don't do the chitlins, brother.
Yo, there was a whole meme out about that. Listen, Black Joy is something we practice here in the Java Cafe. But let's sort of recap, Jelani, what we talked about today. We talked about one of the major things that you said is that we need to, it's the end of the year, and as much as people are preparing, for taxes, they really need to get all their paperwork together. So what are some examples? Obviously, the W-2s are the number one thing. What if let me ask you this. What if you go to church and you tithe? Isn't that a donation to a charitable institution?
It is a donation to a charitable institution, and you should definitely document that. You should document that, absolutely, because even when you bring clothes to the Salvation Army or Goodwill, try to they have Goodwill has a form where you can list your donation that you can use for your tax documents, right? So when you go to Goodwill or Salvation Army, I'm not sure whose church does it or not. If they ever, I don't know if they give forms. I'm not in the church. You can speak to that better than me. But some churches, and you should encourage your church to do that. Give them, get a form that you can fill out that documents, how much money you have given to your church, or how much clothes you have given away, or whatever supplies you have given away, because that's something that you can deduct from on your taxes. So that's important.
Most churches that I'm aware of that use technology, and then given if the church is still around through 2020, hopefully that you trust me, the churches are set up because they found ways to collect offering electronically when they couldn't go into the building. And so some churches do have the ability to get your what they call the end of the year statement from your tithing and from your offering. And so I would definitely, that's one thing you need to do. So not just churches, but any tax deductible donation, you should get your acknowledgement.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And let's just, I want to make sure that people understand that tithing and charity is a part of wealth building. 100%. It's biblical. It's spiritual. Giving back is a part of wealth building. I'm gonna say it again. Being able to give back, giving back. In Islam, they call it zakat, Z-A-K-A-T, right? It's one of the 5 pillars of Islam, zakat. It's the same as tithing, right? Giving back is a form of increasing your blessings and increasing your wealth. So of course, people have jokes where they talk about, how the church is asking for money and asking for this. But if this is your spiritual place, right? This is where you go, right? To tap into your spiritual, into the spiritual realm. It's okay to give back, right? It's okay to give back. It's okay to tithe. It's okay to give charity back, right? And help and support your community, or the people who are, putting their messages and their energy out there to help you. So don't ever feel bad about tithing or giving any form of charity. It's only increasing your wealth. As simple as that.
Any concern about the gold diggers and stuff that we talked about earlier? You just balanced it right there, preacher. And so you just took a preach real quick, but it's a principle. Call it karma, whatever you want to call it. And we were always taught, my father taught me this. For me, a spiritual principle is I will give out of it. I have a need for something. I will actually take from that area of need and give to somebody else. And not many days it comes back. You know what I mean? It comes back. So karma, reciprocity, tithing, blessing. You said zakat, Z-A-K-A-T?
Z-A-K-A-T, zakat.
So however your belief system is, the principle of it works.
The principle of it works.
We got to get ready to roll out. Jelani, this is the first time we went over to this. This is good. Assessing the last 12 months. What does that look like? Assessing the last 12 months.
Assessing the last 12 months, it just really looks like you want to look at your expenses. You want to see where your money went the most, where your attention went the most. You want to see what goals you set for yourself that you may have hit or you didn't hit, right? And then you want to recalibrate. You want to start. Wherever you fell short, you want to just make sure that you don't do it for next year. And the last part I said was give yourself grace, right? Be nice to yourself. Don't beat yourself up about what you didn't accomplish. Don't beat yourself up about the money you didn't save. It's okay. You have another chance to do it. You're living, you're breathing. You have another chance. The next thing I want to talk about really quick is that for 2022, please invest in yourself, and don't be afraid to invest in yourself. Invest in your education. Invest in your mindset. Invest in your financial education, right? Invest in your financial education, right? Don't be afraid to invest in your financial education, as long as it makes sense, right? Either you're working with someone like me who teaches credit, who teaches how to start businesses. Invest in your education. It's important, right? Because your 2022 is only going to look different based on the changes that you made and based off what you poured into yourself. You cannot pour anything out of yourself that you haven't poured in. Remember that. You can't make any withdrawals from the bank for money that you haven't put in. It's the same principle in life. If you haven't poured in anything, you're not going to be able to pour anything out. You can't pour from an empty cup. So pour into yourself for 2022, invest in your education, and you're going to be all right. That's how you're going to achieve freedom.
So I don't think you've ever left me stomped. And you know I can run my mouth. I'm not even stuttering now. I don't really have that much to say. I mean, Jelani, listen, tag somebody in this and really, and not for no likes, numbers, or nothing like that.
Right,
no,
right.
The information you all just got here, I could send all of y'all invoice for a minimum of about $500. You know what I mean? Because we're getting the mental health piece and we're getting a real perspective from a Black man, a king that invested in himself. And now
I appreciate that.
You're doing exactly what you invested in yourself. You got the knowledge. You're here. I'm not paying you, and you're giving back to the community this information. And so, this is why I love and appreciate you, Jelani.
I love you back, brother. I appreciate you.
I'm sorry. I told y'all sometimes I can forget we're live and then just start talking to the brothers. Listen, we're a little bit over time. Thank you all for indulging us today, Jelani, and let me say to you, my gratitude, as I said to Nieisha, bro, and I said a little bit of it just 2 seconds ago, but I appreciate you. I appreciate your authenticity. I appreciate your accuracy. I appreciate the love for looking out, even if there's and this is between an insider between him and I, even if there's a difference of opinion. I appreciate the fact of the looking out and the love and being like just real in who you are, and for being accessible. You know what I mean? Because you're way to a multi-million-dollar track, bro. And just remember us little people when you have, all your little satellite offices, ambition to the city Boston, ambition to the city Atlanta, ambition to the city Dubai. I'll come over and work over there for you.
I like the sound of that. I like the sound of that.
Yo, bro, I appreciate you. We're over time, y'all. We appreciate you. We'll be back tomorrow morning at today's Tuesday, Monday. We'll be back tomorrow morning, Java with Jimmy at 9 a.m. Thank you all for tuning in today, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace, bro.
All right.
Appreciate you, man.
Bro. Yes, sir.